Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I thought we would make a fun card with some snowmen on. Now, there is the most lovely designer series paper which is called Santa's Workshop Speciality designer series paper. And there are some absolutely lovely images through of Father Christmas. Let me take you out with one of these sheets. So you've got on this one, you've got Granny Christmas, Mother Christmas, little elves, signposts, all sorts of things like that. And there are other sheets with Santa Claus on, and there are sheets with the most absolutely lovely snowmen on. Now, what I have done is I have taken one sheet and sort of cut it round because I wanted to get as many different cards out of half a sheet of one of these Speciality designer series paper. Now, what I do is, you will see I've got an envelope in here. Now, while I'm sitting in the evening watching the television, I have the paper snips, and all I do is to cut out. So let me just sort of put a few of these out so you can see. I just cut out and fussy cut round all of the little images, and I will go right down to cutting out even the tiny weeny little pieces as well. So on the snowmen, what I did was, and this, as I say, is just half a sheet of designer series paper. So we have I've cut some out with the stitch shape framelits. So let's have a look at these ones. So you can get 1, 2, 3. I've done an oval one, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got 7 different cards with snowmen that you can make. And then I took, let's get these out of the way carefully, then I took the little pieces that are right round the corner. So let's waste not anything. So when you come to an edge, so let me have a look and see if I can find you one on here. So, okay, when you get to an edge piece like this, you've got the bottom of the snowman. And then when you come down to the other end of the paper, you've got the top of the snowman, but you haven't got the whole one. So what I've done is I've cut out the head of the snowman and the body of the snowman, put them together, and again, that will give you another card. And that's what we are going to do today. So I'm going to take these little pieces out of the way because I will use them for other cards. And we are going to take a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this measures 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And we are going to create a little bit of a wash. So Peaceful Noel, the lovely sort of splodge on there, we are going to put that onto one of our blocks, and we want this to be really quite light. So I am going to use Pool Party and a scrap of paper. Let's find a bit of scrap because we want to stamp this off once before we stamp it. So ink it up well, stamp it off completely once, and then we are going to put it in on the top of here. Like that, and you have got, I don't know how well that'll show up on camera, but you've got a fairly light sort of background splodge. Now with, what did I use? Smoky Slate. So we're going to take the Smoky Slate, and this time we are going to just get a little pool of colour in the well. You can do this with the new ink pads. I'm slowly changing over to the new ink pads, but I'm using the ones we've had for a long time. So you need to just, with your aqua painter, just pick up a bit of colour, and we are just going to run that across on the bottom like that. Okay, so you've just got a little bit of a background on there. Now let's put these out of the way. So while that's drying for a few seconds, I'm going to go on to the card base. Now, I've prepared some of this beforehand. I have taken one of our standard card bases. I've used the thick Whisper White cardstock, and I have cut my blanks. I always cut a sheet of A4 down in half, folded in half. Again, international, do exactly the same with yours and do your base as you would. I've then got a mat of Pool Party, which is 5.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, and then a white piece of the white I can't talk today. This measures 3.5 inches by 5.25 inches. So basically I take everything down 1/4 inch. There's a piece of our lovely Tranquil Tide velvet ribbon across the bottom, and I've run the piece of white cardstock through an embossing folder. There's some lovely snowflake ones. This is actually an old one, but it gives that sort of feel of snow. So we are then going to take our lovely little that to one side. We're going to take our lovely little piece here, which is almost dried, and I have taken, as I said, the base of the snowman and the head from the bottom, and just easily fussy cut it out. So we're going to put those on with mini dimensionals. So we'll have one on there for his head, and we'll have 2, I think, on for his body. Like this. So we're going to put his body on first. Let's get this off. I love snowmen at Christmas. Where I am in the south of England in the United Kingdom, we don't often get a lot of snow, but it is quite nice to have it. So I'm going to put him just literally in the middle of this one, so he's on the ground like that, and then I'm just going to take his little head and put that on just over the top like that. So there you have a lovely little snowman sitting on a background. So we are then going to put this onto the card, lining it up so we've got equidistance around the top and the sides. And then I took from the Colourful Seasons, and this is the coordinating dies. Now they are called seasonal layer thinlets, and the lovely thing about this one is that you've got all sorts of dies for all of the seasons, and there's snowflakes. So I've die cut out the 3 snowflakes. These are the dies, so you get 3 different ones in 3 different sizes, which is absolutely lovely. And so I've die cut those out in the Pool Party, and we are going to put one of them down here like this, and we're going to put one on the other side, and then we'll have one at the top. So we need to put this on first with dimensionals. Now while I've got my minis out, I'm just going to add those on with the minis. So we'll just have one in each one of the corners. You can use our standards or you can use our minis. They both stick really well and add just that little bit of dimension that you'd want. So one on each corner and one in the middle. And then we are going to put this one in at the top. I love when I'm making Christmas cards to try and take the most out of all our lovely supplies, and this designer series paper really lends itself to just a little bit of fussy cutting. So we are going to put this on so that we've got equidistance between, and just put that up with the dimensionals, and then with a little bit of liquid glue we are just going to put just a little bit on the snowflakes. You can use our fine tip glue, you can use our double-sided sheets and actually die cut it out with the sheets. Whatever you want to do really, as long as you can just attach them through. I'm quite comfortable using our wet glue because it has a nice little fine point and you can just put that on quite easily. So we're going to put the big one down on the bottom, and we're going to just have part of it showing over the top here like that. So we'll just attach it on and then put it down at the bottom as well. We're going to have the other one. Now there are lots of different stamp sets and dies that have snowflakes on, so you can use whatever you want, but I've had this Colourful Seasons and the coordinating dies for a while, and I find that I use them all year round because they have something for literally every season. So it's my go-to at Christmas time when I want some snowflakes. So let's pop this one. We'll have him just up a little further, just going on there. And we'll just pop him down like that. We can have that little bit standing up so we have a little bit of dimension on it. That on there. And then we'll have this little guy just right at the top. And as I say, you just need to put just a tiny little bit of the wet glue around on the edges. Just sort of brush it across and it comes out quite easily. There we go. And we'll have this one just on the top there, I think. Or do I want it? Yes, we'll have it just on there like that. We can have just that little tip just poking down like that, so it's on just at a little bit of an angle like that. Okay, now I have taken a sentiment, and the sentiment is from the Peaceful Noel again. So we've used the splodge from the Peaceful Noel, and we've used the May Your Christmas Be Holly, Jolly and Bright, because I thought snowmen are always jolly, so jolly would be quite nice. And I've stamped this out in the Smoky Slate again and cut it out with the oval stitch shape framelets. They are something that, as I say, I use all the time because you've got circles, you've got ovals and you've got squares, and they really are. Now I want to put this one actually so that it goes above and below. So we'll have one on top. I want it, or I want the dimensionals not to be actually on top of the ribbon. So we'll have one above and one below so that I can position it so that you don't have extra bulk where the ribbon is. Just take that off like that. And we'll pop this one in here. And so we've got it so that some of it comes just over the bottom of that snowflake. Oh, says me, that wasn't particularly straight, was it? Let's just try and get that, line it up with my grid paper and see if I can get it straight. Always difficult on camera because you can't get your head over it. So let's just pop that down like that. There we go. And so you have a beautiful Christmassy card using just one little piece from the designer series paper. And again, let me tell you the name of this one, which is the Santa's Workshop Speciality Designer Series paper. And as I say, I think if we take this as half of one of the sheets, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different toppers out of half a sheet. So a lovely way to make some beautiful Christmas cards with that sort of snowy feel. And I think it looks really lovely. So thank you so much for watching me, and I do look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.